This is 2.5-year-old Joseph Seram. His weight, 5.5 kilos, the normal weight for a 6-month-old baby. He's just been brought to the feeding center after a medical team had found him in his village. Joseph's mother explains that the child's daily intake of food is only a little bit of porridge. The family has not enough to eat because there was no harvest this year. Most children here are brought in after their weight has dropped dramatically. Parents usually don't come here by themselves because they feel helpless and ashamed that they are not capable of feeding their own children. This child was brought in when it was only 2 weeks old. His mother says she has not enough milk to feed him because she hardly eats anything herself. Aid organizations say the situation in West Timor is alarming.
This is an acute humanitarian crisis. We find basically in all Timor, we find around 10% acute malnutrition among children. That is high according to WHO standards. And in many places we find more than 15%, which is very high and indicates a humanitarian crisis.
This is the reason for the crisis. What should have been a field full of corn now looks more like a desert. Hardly any rain fell during last rainy season, and even a second attempt to plant these crops has failed.
We have only food left for 1 month. After that, we are forced to go to the forest to find something to eat.
The drought in East Indonesia is caused by a weather phenomenon that's called El Niño. This phenomenon has hit this area before, but not as harsh as this year. Only half of the usual amount of rain fell. According to experts, El Niño is likely to occur more often in the future because of climate change. The head of this village has called for an emergency meeting. He explains to the people that food stocks are running out. The drought affects more than 60% of the population in this area because they all depend on their harvest for food. He shows us that even though some fields still look green, these crops have failed too. Because of a lack of water, the corn didn't get a chance to grow.
I'm afraid that people are going to die. We never had malnutrition in our village, but now it's getting worse every week, and it will get worse in the coming months because we don't have any food.
This is supposed to be a green field full of corn, but look at this. This is the sad result. A severe drought like this is likely to occur more often in the future because of the climate change. But for now, these people can only start to replant their crops within a year from now. The village head has desperately asked the government for help, but so far no response. This woman tells me she's hungry. Milky is one of 5 children here that have to be treated for malnutrition, but he has to wait. All the beds in the feeding center are full.